My number one advice to anyone who's thinking about or planning on pursuing a nursing career is to start volunteering or working in the healthcare setting. What's up, you guys? So today I'm going to be telling you guys how to prepare yourselves for nursing applications. But before I begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe. So when I was in community college and I decided I was going to pursue nursing, I literally had no idea where to begin. I didn't really know anyone who did nursing before me, and I didn't have a mentor or any kind of guidance. So I was definitely lost in the sauce. But I knew I had to adapt and overcome, and that's exactly what I did. So the very first thing I did was I did research on the schools and programs I was looking into. Now, I'm not talking about no academic journals or peer reviews, just your simple basic research on whatever the school or program you're applying to wants as far as requirements, qualifications, etc. So some questions you should be asking yourself when you're doing research is, does the school require an entrance exam, such as a TEAS test or HESI or WST? If they do require a test, what is the minimum score needed in order to qualify for their program? What are their GPA requirements? Again, find out what is the minimum required in order to get into the program. Now here's a little caveat. Just because you meet the minimum requirements, for example, if let's say the minimum requirement to a program is a 3.0 and you get a 3.3, yes, you have met the minimum requirements. However, if your competition, other applicants, have a 3.7 and above, that's going to make it a little bit harder for you to be competitive. But don't you fear, I got you. I'm going to tell you guys at the end of this video what to do to make yourself more competitive. But I'm just saying this because I don't want you to think, oh, I met the minimum, I'm good, I'm going to get into the program, because that's not always the case. Another question you want to ask yourself is, when does the application open for the university if you're not already enrolled into the university? And when is the application period for the nursing program? So I'm a transfer student, so I'd apply to the school and the nursing program. So it was two separate applications. Of course, if let's say you're already at a four-year college or you're already at a community college that has an ADM program, then you don't need to apply for the school. You just need to apply for the nursing program. Also, you should ask yourself, do they have a spring admission? Not all schools will have a spring admission, so just keep an eye out for that. Also, you want to research and see what prerequisites does this school require. So majority of the schools across the board want 4 classes: your anatomy, your physiology, microbiology, and intro to biology. Aside from those 4 classes, some schools will require different classes such as nutrition, statistics, chemistry, sociology, anthropology, some sort of arts class, maybe some music class, whatever it is. And while you're doing your research, you want to see if they have a nursing information session. And that's really when they have someone from the nursing department speak to a group of people to give them a little bit more detail and information about their specific nursing program. And that's the perfect time to ask questions to the person who's hosting the information session, because they are the subject matter expert on this topic. And finding out the classes you need in order to transfer to a nursing program or apply for a nursing program is really important, because I've heard of many people take a class that they actually need, or they didn't take a class that they were supposed to take and now they're delayed a semester or a year, and you don't want to deal with that dilemma. So initially I went to a school counselor and I just told her, hey, I'm trying to do nursing, what classes do I need? And like I said in previous videos, that she was discouraging, she didn't really help me, she wasn't really helpful, and overall just left a bitter taste in my mouth. And just from the people around me, it sounds like a lot of counselors at colleges aren't the most helpful. I'm sure there's some really great ones out there, but with counselors, trust them, but verify as well. So whatever they say, make sure it's actually true, because if they're dealing with so many students and so many different majors, they may not be like the most expert person to be speaking to about. So in California, for a lot of the CSUs or UCs, there's a website called assist.org. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But this website was super helpful. It's perfect for any transfer student, and it's good if, let's say you're at SJSU, for example, and you want to transfer to UC Berkeley. You can figure out what classes are equivalent at SJSU versus UC Berkeley, so that way you can easily just transfer over. And just off that website, I was able to figure out what classes I needed, and then I had to talk to any other counselors after that, and I was on the right track, on the right path, and I finished all my prereqs on time. And in the future, I'll be making a video on how to navigate assist.org, how to use it. It's super user-friendly, so definitely stay tuned for that. So the second thing you want to do is figure out deadlines. Now, applying to nursing school can be complicated already, but if you're applying to multiple programs, it just adds to the complexity of it. It's super important to keep track of deadlines. And the reason why it's so important you don't miss the deadlines is because schools will not accept you if you are late in submitting something. So there are deadlines for when to apply for the school, when to apply for the nursing program, when to submit your transcripts, when to submit your TEAS or HESI or WST exam. And there's deadlines for any supplemental applications or forms such as your letters of recommendation or references or volunteer forms, or if you're in the military and you're submitting your DD 214. So it's super important to know when the deadlines are and what are they for. The next tip I got for you guys is staying organized. Like I had mentioned, if you're applying to multiple schools, it can be a little overwhelming. So staying organized and being on top of everything that's due and like what is required of the school and program is super important. But luckily for you, there's so many things out there that are super helpful, super beneficial in staying organized. You can use calendars, planners, organizers, your phone, notes app, reminders app, Excel sheet, Microsoft Docs. You can apply to nursing school with a friend or buddy so that way you guys can remind each other of different due dates as well. So when I applied to nursing school for the second time, I applied to 5 different nursing schools. And so what I did was I made a folder for each school I was applying to. I printed out the requirements and deadlines for every school and every program. And that was a great way for me to just keep track of everything, be organized. And so that way I don't mix due dates for different schools and programs. Now the fourth thing you guys should do is also sign up for the entrance exams if your schools require it, such as the TEAS or HESI or WST. I never took the HESI, I only took the TEAS and WST. And with the TEAS, if you're applying to multiple schools, you have to pay each time you submit the scores to that school. So I took the TEAS, I applied to 5 schools, I had to pay at 5 times to send those scores. Just keep that in mind. Also, applying to multiple nursing schools, it can be a little pricey, but it's totally worth it. It's definitely good to shotgun your applications because it increases your chance of getting into a program. And once you're making the RN salary, ooh, you're about to pay all that off in an instant. You know what I'm saying? If you do take the TEAS, I would recommend you take it at a school versus a testing center, because if you're taking it at a school that you're applying to, you don't have to pay the TEAS ATI to send the scores over, since your school already has it because you took it at that school. And like I had mentioned in the beginning of this video, you need to start working or volunteering in a medical setting. I had also previously mentioned that every school is going to have a minimum entrance exam score, minimum GPA requirement. And like I said, just because you meet the minimum does not necessarily mean that you're going to make it into the program or be competitive. However, people in my nursing cohort did not have the best GPA. I did not have the best GPA, but a lot of them had healthcare experience, and that helped boost them up because a lot of nursing programs will do their applications based off points. So you get a certain amount of points for the TEAS, the HESI, your GPA, if you're bilingual, if you're military, if you work in healthcare or volunteer. And a lot of programs that do take healthcare or volunteer experience, they give you a good amount of points, like a nice chunk that will make you more competitive if you're kind of lacking in the academic sector of the point system. And on top of working or volunteering in healthcare, and aside from getting the extra points, is when you come to clinical, you're going to be so much more confident, so much more prepared, because you know how to talk to people already, talk to patients and other staff members. And I promise you guys, this will separate you from your peers. Me working in healthcare and then coming to nursing school, it was too easy. It was a nice transition. I was confident every time I went to clinical. I get a little nervous if I'm doing something like new for the first time, or taking on a new task I've never done before, as with anyone with experience. But overall, my basic foundation of introducing myself, explaining stuff, going over with the patient what I'm doing, educating the patient, that was all easy breezy lemon squeezy. And if you're not an academic scholar, getting volunteer or work healthcare related experience is a must. Additionally, if you're in the military and your job is medically related and you're doing direct patient contact, I highly recommend that if you're still in or you're in training, is you get a letter of recommendation from whoever's in charge of your program, as well as keep track of your patient contact hours and have whoever's in charge write a memo of the amount of hours you've had, just to verify and to show the school like, hey, this is like my legit contact hours. And another benefit of volunteering or working in healthcare prior to nursing school is it's a great way to network. If you bust your ass and people see that, they will vouch for you. They will write letters of recommendation. They'll be like, hey, when you graduate, send me your license, send me your resume, and I'll get you hired. And as I'm sure a lot of you have heard, it's not what you know, but it's who you know. So these 5 things I think is a great foundation for you if you're just starting out and pursuing your nursing career. and figuring out what you need to do. And as always, if you have any further questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop it below in the comments. And again, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll catch you guys in the next one.